Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up here in New South Wales, Australia. I'd like to welcome you here today, and it would be great if you're new, visiting, even if you're someone who jumps on here regularly, please jump on and say hello and let me know where you're from. And also let me know if you can hear me okay. I hope you're having a wonderful week. It's been a very hectic week for me so far, and it's going to keep going over this weekend. If any of you are joining us tomorrow on our Creativity Abound Stamp Camp, look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we're chatting with you tomorrow and sharing some of our projects on there. Just to let you know, come March, I'm involved in another stamp camp, and it's on the weekend of the 4th of March, and it's with Let's Create Together girls. We're 4 demonstrators from here in Australia. 3 of us are from New South Wales and 1 is from Melbourne. We're actually a little offshoot from the Creativity Abounds, and we're doing a rain or shine stamp camp. Now, that is open to anybody, whether you're here in Australia or overseas. We have different packages. You can purchase the suite through us, and that will give you free attendance to our Facebook page and our lives on the day. You can also purchase just the stamps and pay for the tutorial. You can get product shares. We've got all that listed, and it's all on my blog. So if you're looking for that information, please head over to my blog and look up the Let's Create All Together for that information. It's going to be a great weekend. If you're a demonstrator or overseas, you can go on to my tutorials on my sale page, and you'll find the link there to purchase the tutorial for $22. And that will also give you the attendance in the Facebook page as well. So I hope you can join us. Please jump on there. If you have any questions about it, just give me a tingle. You can contact me on michele@jatrissa.com, and I can give you all the information and the rundown on that. So let's get started on our card today. As I said, please jump on and say hi, so I know that at least someone is watching me. It's a bit daunting sometimes when you think there's no one out there and you're just chatting away to yourself, but that's something I do quite a bit, is chat away to myself. So I will survive if you aren't able to join me now and you are joining me later on watching this as a replay. This is also on Facebook and also on YouTube. Oh, Margie, how are you? Glad you joined us. I'm not talking to myself. Wonderful. Okay, I'm just going to move my camera back in and I'm going to flip this down. So it won't be one moment. Okay, so that's there. And let's just flip this camera down so you can see my desk view. So today I thought we'd make a card using the Dainty Delight. I'm not so much using the stamps. I'm just really using the DSP, but I wanted to show you this. Let me just bring it back into camera view. This is the Dainty Delight stamps. Now, this is a beautiful range of stamps, and I've used them quite a bit in using this particular one here and colouring it in, because it's quite delicate. And same with these other ones here. It's a very lovely, delicate stamp, and you have got a beautiful range of dies that cut out all of these, and plus a lot extra. Now, if you purchase this as a bundle, here in Australia, that's $96.25. Now, at the moment, we've got Sale-A-Bration running, and it's only running until the end of February, so you've only got a couple of weeks left of it. But when you purchase this for $96.25, you can actually purchase for free the designer series paper that goes along with it, which is this one just here. Actually, it's on both pages, so I'll just remove that completely. So you can see here how they've used the designer series paper and they've used these dies to create these amazing cards. So I'm actually making a card today using these products here. So this beautiful designer series paper, I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. I've got 2 packs of it already, and I'm going to use this tonight in my class. Excuse me. So I thought we'd make something today using that. So let me just get rid of these. And let me bring in all the products we're going to be using. So as I said, I'm not necessarily going to be using, well, I'm not going to be using the Dainty Delights and the sentiment I was looking for. I think these ones are all a little bit too big than what I'm looking for. So the sentiment I'm going to use, I'm going to take it out of the frame florets, which is also in our mini catalogue. And I just want to use this one here, just a little reminder that you are loved. I've got a family member who's going through a very rough patch at the moment, and I just, even though recently I've sent them a card, I just want to have another card ready to send to them, just to let them know that I do love them and I do think about them quite a bit. So we're going to be using that. The other product we're going to be using is we're going to be using our stylish shape dies. So I'm looking at using I'm going to be using the large round circle, and I'm going to be using this banner here to cut out that sentiment. So they're the 2 dies we're using, and I'm only going to be using 1 ink pad, and I'm going to use the Night of Navy for this. Okay, so just keeping this quite simple. Now these are all the cardstock and everything. I've pre-cut everything, so I'm ready to go. So I've got a card base here, and I've cut this at 10.5 by 29.9 centimeters, and I've scored it at 14.9. So let me just fold this in half, because I have already scored it, and grab my bone folder here. I'm just going to line everything up and just really burnish that line so we've got a really nice crisp fold. So that's our card base. On top of that, I'm going to add a designer series mat, and that's 10 by 14.4. Now we'll put all these measurements and everything up on my Facebook page. Not my Facebook page, sorry, on my blog. I didn't get around to doing blogging last week's live. I'm sorry. Just things got quite busy. So that's our card mat. And I'll also put up the metric for this for the letter size card bases as well. Then I'm going to use another piece of Blackberry Bliss, and this piece is 6.5 centimeters by 14.4. And we're going to use this beautiful designer series paper. And this one is 6.3, so it's just a little bit narrower, but still at that 14.4 centimeter length. And then I've cut out one of the floral pieces out of the designer series paper. Now here's the designer series paper here. As you can see, I've been hacking into this. And this comes from a sheet of paper. Let me see if I can find it for you. Which is this one here. And with this, you've got a beautiful design both sides of the paper, and you just really need to cut it down the middle and then cut it into sections. So out of this, you could get your you could get 6 cards. Okay, so what I've done is I've just used one of those sections just to die cut this little image here, and I've just tried to position my circle die so I could pick up a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss in this, the lovely daisy flowers, and these little purple flowers down here as well. So let me just pop this out of the road. Got my window wide open because it's a little bit muggy here today, so there might be a little bit of noise coming from outside. We're having council pickup, so there's trucks and everything picking bits and pieces up off the side of the streets. I've also then got my card insert, and I'm doing that in your basic white, and I've cut that at 10 by 14.4. And then I've got a couple of little pieces here of Blackberry Bliss and the lovely DSP to trim the bottom of that, and that's 10 by 2 in the DSP and 10 by 2.3 in the Blackberry Bliss. So let's put our card together. So we're going to take this designer series paper, which is the matte size, and I'm going to adhere that down onto the front of my card. Now, I really love this DSP. I think it is just such a stunning designer series paper, hence why I've got 2 packs. I just love the delicateness of it. And if I can find it, I'll show you a special card I haven't showed really anybody as yet. I haven't even blogged it as yet, or using this designer series paper. I did a card just before Christmas, which was a never-ending card using the gnomes. So I've made another card similar, but using this designer series paper. So we've popped that onto there, so that's there. And now we're going to grab this piece of Blackberry Bliss and our pink piece of designer series paper. I'll take those off. I'm going to pop those over there. And we're going to adhere these 2 together. Now, I love this multi-purpose glue because it does allow me to have some slip to get this into the position that you want it, but you don't want to have too much glue because you don't want it oozing out the side. So I don't put my glue on too close to my edges of my paper. And you do want to make sure that holding this down firmly, just move that, you do spread that glue out by pressing down on your card because you don't want little lumps of glue underneath it. Okay, so that's that piece there. So let's bring our card base back in. And this is quite a simple and easy card to put together because you are just layering different pieces on. Don't know why I do a squiggle down one side and a straight line on the other. And I'm just going to position that around about 1 centimetre or just under 1/2 inch on there, like that. Again, just give that a really good firm rub down. Just make sure that glue is nicely spread around. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to now just jump in and grab my card insert and those 2 little trim pieces. And I want the trim pieces here. What I'm going to do is pop a little bit of glue on the back here. So, Margie, tell me, how's your day been? Been having lovely weather where you are? And when we pop that on, we're just going to have a little bit of an edge of our Blackberry Bliss just poking through there. And then I've got my insert here. And I'm going to pop some more glue on the back of this. And pop that there. Just like that. Now, I have got a little bit of glue. Let's pop the lid on there. Just got a little bit of glue. I can just feel it with my fingers on there. And I'm just going to grab this white rubber here. Make sure it's nice and clean. You want a fairly soft rubber if you're going to be doing what I'm doing here, or you can actually, this is something I purchased many, many years ago. And it's a little bit grotty. It's like a rubber stick. I don't know where that black line came from. Can't remember who I got it from, but it's purposefully for taking glue off, so you can rub around in a circle motion and it will ball up that glue. But I find using a white rubber, as long as you're doing it fairly gently, will do a similar sort of thing. Just be careful with doing this if you're on black cardstock though, because I have found it has taken the black out of the cardstock, whereas something like this one here probably wouldn't. There are products out on the market. Apparently Stampin' Up used to sell one many years ago. But there are products out in the market that you probably could pick up from an art supply store that removes ink from, not removes ink, removes glue from your paper. So anyway, I'm happy with that now. Got rid of that stickiness there. And we're going to pop that on the inside of our card. And let's pop that there on the inside. So this is really a DSP based card today. It's a bit hot and you're going out this afternoon to near, oh, that'd be nice, near the ocean. And what movie are you going to see? First time you've been out in a year. Well, I hope you enjoy that, Margie. And I hope it's a good movie you're going to be seeing. My husband and I haven't been out to the movies for, at least a couple of years. We've just been staying at home. Quite boring folk. Okay, so now I'm just going to add that onto there. And I think we might add that with some dimensionals. Magic Mike. What's that about? Do you have any idea? Don't think I've heard that one. I'm wanting to watch as a movie that's on, I think it's on Netflix. It's a remake of a very old movie, but the problem is it goes for about 2 and something hours, and my husband keeps going, too long. So I might have to watch it by myself one day. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that. I want the flowers going up and down, and I want it, even though I've got this pink strip here more to one side, that's probably a little bit too far over to one side. I want this one here being over to the other side, and that's really just to balance it out. I used the large circle because I really wanted to get all those flowers in off there. I didn't want to use one of the other designer series papers which just had lines of flowers on it because I wanted it to have some sort of depth. A male stripper. Oh, now that sounds interesting. You'll have to let me know, Margie, next week how the movie was. Okay, so let's have a look. I haven't decided yet what designer series paper or what cardstock I'm going to do the sentiment on. I was sort of thinking using my whites, and I've got my bag of scrap pieces of basic whites here. It's only going to be a small sentiment because it's only going to be narrow like that. So I want that sort of to come probably across there a little bit. So we're sort of almost doing like a zigzag because you've got this piece, the pink piece, which is over this side of our card. Then we're balancing it out by bringing this circle more that way. And then this one here is going to go this way a little bit more, but not too much. It's sort of just keeping it nice and central. Oh, you just got this DSP yesterday and you can't wait to get, oh, you'll love it. I love this. I just haven't made enough with it as yet. but I am going to be using it in my class tonight. So I hope the girls in my class will enjoy playing with it as much as what I have. So let's grab our sentiment. And as I said, I'm using it from the framed florets. And I'm just going to grab that out. I feel like I've been making cards all day. I'm in a stamp camp, which is on tomorrow. I'll grab a block here with Creativity Abounds. And we're doing By the Bay. And I wasn't real happy with the card I had made for that particular to demonstrate tomorrow. So I've spent all morning redesigning a new card. I'm really, really happy with it. And hopefully it'll be on my blog next week. Okay, so we're just using our Night of Navy, and I'm just tapping the colour on there. Now I should put a mat underneath this because it is a photopolymer, but I find with sentiments it's not always necessary. So let's just do the right thing and pop that on there. And then we're just going to stamp this in the middle. Now I am using more cardstock than I actually need, but that's okay. And that looks great. I'll pop that out of the road. Yeah, I've sort of, I think I've made myself really busy this weekend. Housework hasn't been done, which is always the way, because I do an alterations business as well. So I've been pretty tied up with doing alterations this week, catching up on a lot of work that I've sort of got behind on. But this weekend, I won't be doing any alterations. I'll be card making all weekend, and I've still yet to prep for tonight's class. So this is going to be a fun afternoon, I think, after I've finished here. Okay, so I'm just lining this up. So let me turn it around so you can see. I'm just wanting to try to get this lined up as best as I possibly can. And I'm going to use a bit of post-it note here just to hold all that in place. Now, I don't know whether you saw the other day or Stampin' Up was showing us how to use this cutting machine better, particularly these plates, because sometimes people get these machines and they say the plates won't go through. The difference between the rollers is different on every single machine. Yeah, it does keep me out of trouble, Margie. Keeps me off the streets, as they might say. No, yeah, no, it does keep me out of trouble. But anyway, what they recommended, I've always just staggered these plates. So when I put these plates on, I've staggered them like that. But what they say to do, because everybody's got differences in their rollers here, and you need to allow for a little bit of movement here, so these edges here can be picked up by the rollers. They've actually suggested that you put, whoops, let me just remove that. You have one plate there, then you put, so you've got your number 1 plate, then you put number 2 plate on and bring number 2 plate back a little. Then pop on what you're going to be cutting, and then pop your second number 2 on, but your second number 2 is going to line up with that number 1. And it makes a little bit of an indentation like that, so you can see it goes, it's out, then it goes in, and then back out again. And that's going to give you that little bit of flexibility for that to go through. Now, I've never really had a huge amount of problem with this machine. It is a lighter weight machine than the big one. So I've always said you've got to hold this down firmly and then just run that through. And I have put through all sorts of things. I've taken this little machine to craft events, and I've been cutting felt out of it and all sorts of things. So I'm actually quite surprised that it's still all in one piece, because it's a beautiful little machine. It's not a heavyweight one. It's very, very lightweight, and works really well. I probably use it now a lot more than I use my big one. So there's our pieces there. And we'll just remove our die, unless hopefully, yep, it's a little bit crooked, but I'm not too worried. It's only just a little bit out. And I'm going to pop that around about there. But I do think it still needs something. So I've got some white baker's twine here. And I'm going to tie a fairly generous. Now, I'm going to see if I can do this. I did this the other day. Can't remember where I was doing it. I'm sure I was doing it here on Facebook. Trying to tie a bow, but around my fingers. And I wanted to wrap it around 2 or 3 times. So let's see if we can get it right today. So I'm going to leave myself fairly big tail, because I want to wrap, and I'm going to spread my fingers out. I want to wrap that around. Need a bit more. I want to wrap that around twice. And then, so that's already twice. I'm going to pop that. So I've got my fingers spaced out there, probably around about 7.5 centimeters, maybe a bit more. If I've got a ruler here and measured it, you know what? Spot on 7. So I'm going to take that, drop that down in between my fingers there, bring it up here, grab the other piece here, which is going to be a tail. I'm just going to bring that finger was in there. I'm going to bring that finger out and hold those two together. And this is where I usually have my tongue sticking out, because I'm concentrating and trying to do this properly. And then I'm just going to hold that and bring that together. Okay. Now the question is, let's hope I haven't made too big a bow. So I'm just going to make sure these are nice and firm. Yep. Now you could, if you wanted to, because the way I've done this is pull one of these a little bit bigger and have one a bit bigger and one a bit smaller, because they do slip easily backwards and forwards this way. But I'm going to bring that back, so I do want them the same size. So there's a nice double bow. Just done on my fingers. So I'll trim those tails off in a moment, and I'm going to work out where I want this to go. So I think it's going to sit somewhere about there. Generally, I usually tuck my bows in underneath, but I'm not going to be worried about that today, I don't think. Let's pop a couple of dimensionals on that, because I just want that popped up as well. There they are. So I'm going to sit that a little bit in, because it's going to hang off there, and I don't want to put any dimensionals there. And I like to have this well supported, so I'm going to put 3. But as I said, I haven't put any on the end here, because it's going to be hanging off this end. So let's just take our backings off. And I'm going to pop that just there like that. And we're going to grab some glue dots. Grab the take a pick tool. I love this stylus end on the take a pick tool. Really good for picking up all these glue dots and everything, and I'm just going to roll that a little bit into a ball because I want that to go behind this knot, and I'm not going to be tucking it underneath, so we want it small so it's not going to be seen. And then I'm just going to position that. It's just underneath that little banner. And then I like to have sometimes my bow ends a little bit longer than my card. So that is that. And let's have a look. We'll see if we've got any nice bling we can put on here. Now, I can't remember whether these are still in stock in our, this is the champagne. You have a look, see if these are still a current. Yes, they are. I'm just wondering, will they could go. Let's have a look. We'll see what else we've got here. Want something with a bit of could also actually use those milky dots. These ones would go quite well with it too, the elegant faceted, but I don't have enough. You could even put the butterflies with it, but I don't want to use them this time round. Let's just have a look and see. Because this background, this paper here is not a real white. It is like a milky sort of white. So that's what I'm wondering. These ones here could be quite nice. So I might put those ones there away. And let's add a couple of these. I'm going to put one down there. I'm going to pop another large one probably there. And another large one on the blue. That's just bringing a visual triangle into this center. So it's bringing your eye automatically into the center. And I'm just going to pop a couple of little ones here with it as well. So I'm going to do a little group of 3 there. Another one there. Just 3 groups of 3, I think, is quite nice. Don't want to go too close. One there, I think. And one just about there. Okay. So let me pop this, or see if I can get this back into the bag. I usually give up and say I'll do it later. Yeah, there we go. So there's our quick, easy and simple card for today. I hope you like this little card. It's just a fun little card, quite simple. Just using that lovely designer series paper and letting that designer series paper be the hero. So, you know, you could change your sentiment out quite easily for something else. And it's a beautiful card for really for any occasion. I'm glad you like it, Margie. So I'm hoping that my family member will also enjoy this card when I send it to them. So again, there's the inside of our card, just quite simple. And there's the outside of our card. Now, of course, you could add some DSP to your envelope, and that would be quite nice also. I'm just wondering, do I have any, can I reach an envelope here without knocking? Yes, I have. Okay, we might even just do that since this hasn't taken us that long. Let's grab some designer series paper, and I think I might use that lovely pink. Pop that into there. Let's see if I've got a small piece here. Just see a piece hanging out there. I don't know how big it is. That's a bit too small. We'll use this piece here. And I'm just going to cut this into a strip, which is going to be about 7 centimeters. We've got a lot more in width than I need, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some adhesive onto here. Taking it close to the edge, but not right up to the edge, because I'm hoping I can move this. Whoops, we don't want that little bit of scrap there. Move this around a little bit. Get that glue to spread. Then with a pair of scissors, just trim around. Those edges. And there we are. We've now got a beautiful envelope to go with our beautiful card. How simple was that? So thank you again for joining us today. I'm hoping that those of you that are catching up with the replay will enjoy it as well. I will try to get a lot of this onto my blog probably tomorrow or Sunday, depending how things go with everything. If you're interested in our Rain or Shine stamp camp, which is happening on the 4th of March, please, as I said, go and check it out on my blog, which is at it's at butterfliesandbows.com. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll create another project. So have a lovely day. Thanks for joining us, Margie. Really great to have a chat with you, and enjoy that movie. I can't wait to hear what it's all about. Okay, take care for now. Bye.